This is the December 21st, first day of winter, Development Review Board meeting. We have not a very complicated agenda, but if you're here and you expect to testify or give evidence in connection with any of the matters on our agenda, please be sure that you've signed in. It's pretty important. And then if you do give any evidence or testimony, I guess we now have a big sign that tells folks that we need you to come and step up to a microphone, not because we can't hear you, but because we're being all tape recorded for public access to this public meeting. Video, thank you for the correction.
Digitally recorded.
As Mark used to say, for our vast viewing audience. So I'm going to call the meeting to order and see if there's anyone in the audience or at the table who wishes to make a public comment this evening. Hearing none, we'll move on to the third item of our agenda, which is approval of the minutes of our December 7th meeting. Does anyone have any changes to the minutes as proposed? Hearing none, I'll take a motion for approval of the minutes.
So moved.
And I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion passes. First application we have before us is two design review applications. The first one I'll call is DR 16-15. It's an application by no stranger to the DRB, Mr. William Posey, 36 and 38 Fisher Place. It's a new duplex. Could you step forward, Mr. Posey? Raise your right hand, be sworn. Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And can you tell us a little bit about this duplex application?
Yes, this is the fifth building lot in there. This is a duplex, two single floor units. It seems that the elderly seem to be the biggest clients these days for rentals in a single floor situation. This is the largest lot in the development, and it's done in a slightly different configuration so that it would accent the corner of the development. We have a good, as the Historical Society likes to say, streetscape going on there, where a single floor, two-story, and this is a single story again, which will have a nice little courtyard in the front and nice little backyards in the back. It is, the exterior is going to be the same materials as all the other buildings in there. It's a vinyl corners, some cedar detailing on the building, and patios on the front and back, as well as vinyl windows, energy efficient in every way.
Does anyone have any questions of the applicant? Does anyone in the audience have any questions of the applicant? Hearing none. I'll ask, do you have any concerns, Mr. Posey, about the narrowness of the connection between the two buildings?
I did, and I spoke to the fire marshal. He suggested to me, which I was going to take up with Kate, is if I could separate them by 10 feet rather than 4 feet. I did all my measurements and calculations, and yes, it still allows me more than sufficient setbacks on both sides.
Anything from the board?
So that little walkway that's now 4 feet wide is going to be 10?
Yes, and it's more of a vegetation in that area, so someone could walk that way, but if anybody needed to get there for fire or anything like that, make easier access. It'll be like a pergola over the top of it. It's kind of...
So it's not like a covered, like a corridor, it's just
Yeah,
this space and then this
it's a space. It's like it's covered space, like with a pergola over the top, decorative type roofing, but there is no necessary need for a roof on it. It's a connection between the two buildings, rather than putting them right up tight against one another. It just makes it a little more pleasant. You find that most people either like to have the garage between them and another unit, or in this case, with it being a corner unit, it didn't other than making them very boxy and up against the road, wasn't conducive to putting the garages in the center, because then there would have been adequate backing out space. More of a flow thing than anything, but it ended up being very desirable design for the lot.
So then I suppose I just still, because this comment that's been raised here, then the question is whether they're strictly separate buildings or it's a duplex.
I believe it's considered a duplex, because the definition of a connected building is not fully, totally defined as long as they are connected.
Yeah, so the comment in there is just kind of to flush out any concerns that there might be. There's no strict definition saying they have to be connected by a particular structure, but in other places there is. Yep.
The pergola will be done in a very attractive manner. It's, it's trying to get a fluid development so that everything kind of connects together. Everything looks like it belongs. Like there's a little, there's always details from one house to another house that kind of makes it look like it's part of the same neighborhood.
I mean, again, I guess this is just for me more just a question. Why connect them?
It's a requirement that they are connected as a duplex. It's all different towns look at it different ways, but it just happens to be next door. I have a two-story double garage in between, which would have fit on this lot also, but the historic committee, they like to mix things up a lot so that it has things that look better, and also the desirability for older clients, which seem to be the majority of people that are looking are either people in my age group or a little older that want single stories.
Well, unless there's any comments or questions from the board, I'll move to grant design review approval to Mr. Posey for the construction of a 2,816 square foot duplex at 3638 Fisher Place, which is described as Lot 4 within the Fisher Circle subdivision, with the following conditions: that you'll need a zoning permit, of course, before you engage in any further land development, and a certificate of occupancy will be required, including exterior photos of the completed structure. Also, the driveway turnout space for the northern unit shall be extended to the extent possible without encroaching into the 5-foot required setback. And in addition, that the connection between the duplexes, or the two sides of the duplex, be widened to 10 feet as suggested by the fire department. May I have a second to the motion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Posey. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Next matter on our agenda this evening is DR 16-17. It's, oh boy, I'm going to butcher this, Ellen Arapakos? Thank you. From 259 Marset Road. She wants to replace in her larger front stoop, deck, and patio. If you could approach the microphone, Ms. Arapakos. You raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in connection with your application this evening?
I do.
Can you state your name for the record and please spell it for Mary Ann?
Ellen Arapakos, Arapakos.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about your application.
So I have an existing deck, and the decking material has rotted out and been removed, and I wanted to replace that. And when I did that, I wanted to line up the western edge of the deck with the side of the house, so it would be flush with the side of the house instead of a little jog back. So it's only going to be overall 1 foot 8 inches wider. It won't extend into the setbacks at all. And then there's an existing patio, which is simply pavers over gravel. And for maintenance sake, I wanted to also just cover that area with the same decking material. It'll just be 1 step lower. So that's in the back of the house. In the front of the house, there's an existing wooden stoop with a step, and while I'm replacing it with a composite material, I wanted to extend the stoop out towards the street just by 1 foot, and also widen the step a little because it's rather tight for getting in and out of the house. And I'm still well within the setback from the road.
Do any members of the board have any questions or comments of the applicant, Ms. Arapakis? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to grant design review approval to Ms. Arapakis for the replacement and enlargement of her front stoop and rear deck, and a new deck to replace the existing patio pavers at 259 Marset Road with the following conditions: that a zoning permit be obtained prior to any construction. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you very much. The next matter on our agenda is matter number 5. We are way ahead, 8 minutes ahead, so it's okay. This is the application, it's a subdivision application, SUB 0410R1. It's the application by Krebs and Lansing Engineers on behalf of J. Desitel for sketch plan approval of a 6-lot plan unit development subdivision. The property is not at Zero Pond. Yes, the property is at Zero Pond Road, and it's located in the rural district, and a portion of it is in the floodplain and water course overlay districts. Is there anyone present in the audience to testify on behalf of this application?
Yes.
There you are.
I'm Scott Homestead from Krebs and Lansing Consulting Engineers.
Mr.
I'm with Jay Dazatels, the property owner.
Mr. It's Olmsted?
Homestead, Homsted.
Thank you. Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you'll give in connection with this application will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Is Mr. Desitel likely to testify?
I would say yes.
Mr. Desitel, if you wouldn't mind standing and giving your name, raise your right hand.
Jay Desitel.
Do you swear or affirm that any testimony or evidence you give in connection with this proceeding will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you very much. All righty. Mr. Homestead, can you tell us about this application?
I can.
We already heard about this.
Set up a board here. I can't quite figure out
Is
the
this-
tripod. Try that.
That's fine. Can everybody see, or?
Or who wants to see.
Okay.
So we were here for the
Don't
pre-application.
hold it too close to your mouth.
We were
'cause
here to the pre-application conference
Right.
last month.
Yeah.
And gave a little presentation then. We have not really changed our plan since then. We were going to wait and get the more formal comments that come with sketch plan before making any changes. But I will summarize a little bit as to the history of the project. So essentially, back in, I would say, 2003 to 2005, this property went through a complete subdivision process through the town. And it started out as a 7-lot subdivision with 6 building lots. And due to a ongoing legal matter regarding the town line between Shelburne and St. George that some of you may be familiar with, the final plan was scaled back so that there were actually only four lots approved, 3 building lots and an open space lot. And then there was remaining lands that could be future subdivided. So what's on the record right now is for 3 lots. And what we'd like to do now is to come in and go back and get those 2 more building lots approved, and at the same time reconfigure the lots in a different pattern and orientation. So I can talk about that a little bit. So on the plan I have here, I tried to kind of color code this because I know it's difficult for people to see. But what I've outlined in yellow here are the proposed building envelopes. And the lots are 1 and 2 would be accessed off of Route 116, Heinsberg Road. There's an existing driveway that serves an existing house in St. George here. And that would serve 2 new lots. And in this area, there was previously another lot, there was 3. And so in this configuration, we've actually necked that down to 2 lots, and the 3rd lot has been put in on the far western part of the property. And that would be accessed from a private driveway off of Pond Road in this area. The remaining 3 lots, lots 4, 5, and 6, The building envelopes are identical to what was previously approved, but we've reconfigured those lots some so that they will be accessed off of Pond Road rather than there was previously a more almost like a, still a private road, but a more robust road because it was going to be serving 5 lots that came off of 116, crossed over some wetlands, and looped up around in this area to serve those lots. So we've eliminated a previously approved wetland crossing in this configuration. And the other thing we've done is instead of having a separate lot with all the open space on the project, we've now divvied up all that land amongst the lots. But there will still be, all that open space will still be there because the development will be limited by the building envelopes. So, and what that gives some of these lots the opportunity for is potentially some small-scale farming operations. Lots 4, 1, and 2 in particular would have the opportunity to do that if they wanted to have horses or something along those lines. So, these private driveways off of Pond Road that are proposed are along existing sort of farm and woods roads. So they would obviously need to be improved, but it's already cleared and already there to some extent. So it's not going to be a lot of, you're not going to see the situation where you're going into the woods and just clearing a 100-foot wide strip of woods. It's going to sort of blend in with what's already there, and that's why we kind of like this configuration. This would all be served by on-site wastewater disposal. We previously got state permits for 6 building lots out here in terms of wastewater, so we'll just need to amend that for the new configuration. On-site wet water supply as well there'll be all drilled wells out here. Stormwater treatment, we previously got a state stormwater discharge permit on this property. I believe it's still valid actually, but and we'll be amending that again to take into account the changes that we proposed, but we don't envision any problem, doing that. We'll meet all the current standards of the state stormwater treatment manual. So that's sort of a summary of the project. I don't know if you like to go through, sort of every comment in the book, or whether in the staff notes, or whether you just like to hit on any key ones.
What's different from when you were in here a couple weeks ago?
Nothing.
Okay, so why are you here?
Because this is sketch plan. That was pre-sketch
Okay, just a
plan.
continuation.
Yeah, that was
Got
it.
Okay.
Well, I guess just 2 comments out of planning and zoning. The first one, and maybe you can shed some light, the area that's outlined as being archaeologically sensitive.
Sure.
I guess maybe the data that was used for that is not completely accurate and maybe perhaps in your favor. Typically, those areas are designated near streams. I mean, it's relative proximity to stream, water bodies, and things like that. And
I
they're
agree.
not typically found on there. So that might not exactly be completely accurate, but again, perhaps in your favor. And then the other thing I just wanted to put in everybody's mind to contemplate is that this is a relatively large site with a lot of things going on, and a site visit would be fun and probably really beneficial to understand the property a little bit better at some point. But you guys can make a determination on that.
Well, if we're going to do it, we should do it before there's a ton of snow on the ground.
That's true.
Or we could wait till there is snow on the ground.
Snowshoeing.
Walk in the snow and on ice.
Well, I'll be sick that day.
Can you
So
bring
we
that
could
closer,
continue it.
take a
That's a
close
good
look at
idea.
the building envelopes?
Yeah, that's the,
Sure, by all means.
Thank you. Because I don't recall them last time.
And then there's a couple of members of the audience who I
Yeah,
think
I'll
are
flip it
dying to.
around as well.
Oh,
Tell me when you're
well,
done.
if it's not too unusual, I'll defer to my colleagues to have these 2 people, if they want to just come behind so you can
By all
see.
means.
You want to step behind so that you can see what he's,
Oh, come on back.
come on back. Just watch out for the electrical shock wire.
You'll know when you have.
So no pond in this version? There's no pond?
There's none proposed,
pond.
correct, because we sort of spread everything out more. There's no centralized location for them.
Okay. 'Cause I suspect that was kind of part of the requirement by the fire department in the previous development?
It was a stormwater pond as well,
Right.
and so what we would do, instead of having in this configuration, instead of having a central stormwater treatment practice, we would have probably half a dozen smaller ones.
How many lots are there?
6.
6, okay, good.
And the wetland is earmarked
So
with the pink?
The pink sort of closed figure is the wetlands traced from the natural resources mapping. And then there were wetlands delineated back in 2003 by Kathy O'Brien, and those are sort of, I marked those with more of a pink dotted line. So we're proposing 0 wetland disturbance.
Right.
And there was previously a crossing that was approved that had wetlands disturbance associated with it, and we've eliminated, and that's one of the benefits of this configuration is eliminating that.
I may have missed this when
Sure.
when you were talking about it, but where is
The
there
wetlands,
planned
the
property or
wetlands,
lot
right?
access, on there yet?
Sure.
Is that-
Can, you know what you can do? You can put your, here,
Want me to be your Vanna White?
yeah,
That would be
yeah, Van
wonderful.
White.
A flourish, please.
Everybody has a
So, so the access points are essentially existing. There's an access point here that serves this house. And so we would come off here and there would be an extension off that driveway to serve lots 1 and lot 2. And then lot 3 would have a driveway along here out to a building envelope in the woods.
Okay, sorry, I did
Yeah.
miss that.
No problem.
Thank you.
And
And then-
again, if you drove down this road, you would see these access points. They're
Okay.
there.
There's actually a car parked in the woods in here, that was an existing road
Yeah.
at some point.
So, and then there's another access off a pond road more at this high point here. And that would serve, this would be proposed as a shared driveway for these 3 lots, lots 4, 5, and 6.
That was also an existing old, I believe, farm road at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, they're really obvious as you drive down the road from Pond Road.
Can you take questions from back here?
Yeah, go right
Okay,
ahead.
so these building envelopes, are they working off from the exact
Wait.
same?
Wait a minute, wait.
This one.
Yeah, is anyone standing behind me likely to testify? Okay, so if you are, raise your right hand.
I have.
Do you solemnly swear that any testimony you should give this evening will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Would you mind please stating your name for the record?
Bernie Gilmet.
Okay, Mr. Gilmet, you may ask questions of either Mr. Desitel or Mr. Homestead.
Are all these building envelopes working off from Mike Anderson's plans? I mean, is the setback from the pond road, I guess my concern would be the three houses that are clustered together. The first residence, how far is that, or how close is that to the pond road?
I can answer that. So lots 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, the building envelopes are essentially the same as the Mike Anderson plan. The only new one is lot 3, which this wasn't an area that was previously thought of for building. And this area,
What's the distance there?
just scaling off of here is
It's about
400 feet,
At least, yeah.
maybe 5. So that's well back in the woods. One of these locations were originally picked to have some sort of amount of screening from roads and other residences.
So since I've got the mic in my hand, so should I continue?
Yes.
Okay. You spoke with my son.
I did,
Met my son.
yeah.
We've never met, but I'm Bernie, and I know you're the new owner of this property. This is all a whole new board from 2003, 2005, when it first came about. So I don't know how many notes you have available to you, but we were down here the first time when this residential lot was proposed, and we had concerns about, well, actually, there's a farm right across the road from this building lot.
Sure.
And I'm gonna tell you, if that house is 400 feet away from that pond road, they're gonna have an issue with that. We have a vacuum pump that runs 8 hours a day. We have milk trucks pulling in and out of there all hours of the night and day. There's a 1 million gallon ship pit just across the road from that. You gotta realize that the people that are gonna buy these houses probably don't even live in Vermont yet. Okay, so you gotta remember, you're dealing with moving residential out in a rural.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you because this, if you have questions for any of the witnesses, that's fine, or if you want to give testimony about facts that have to do with the application itself, But right now, no buildings are being proposed yet.
Okay.
So that might be the time that you would want to give testimony about that at that point in time. We're just approving a sketch plan right now.
Yeah.
So your concerns are very early,
Okay.
way early, not the right moment. Yeah.
I can
Don't
talk,
mean
I'll talk to you later.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine. Yeah, we probably should have
Yeah.
before.
Can I make one comment about that, though? Is
Sure.
This lot's approved. All we're doing is moving a property line in this area now.
Mhm.
So those
But no-
lots exist.
It's an approved lot, I agree with you, but there's no application for a building permit at the moment.
Correct.
Right.
So that would put the cart before the horse a little bit, so.
Sorry.
Okay. But it also seems like Mr. Desatel is willing to chat with you after the hearing, which is.
I think we should. I've
great.
stopped there a couple times,
Yeah.
talked to your son.
Yeah.
I'm in line with your concerns.
Sure.
Does anybody else get any concerns? All right, let's all take our seats then. Thanks.
You can do that.
Let's go show we need that $18,000.
It's gonna work marvelously.
Well, I don't know what the vote was on it, but I'm more than happy to give.
I have a good question.
Yes, all right, Mr. Pauza has some questions of you, Mr. Hobson.
So lots 5 and 6 were previously approved, correct? You're not making any adjustment to the lot lines?
We are adjusting the lot.
Are the lots getting larger or smaller?
Larger.
They're getting larger?
That's correct.
Okay, by how much approximately?
Geez, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but lot 4 is significantly larger. This lot line was,
There's the old one, okay.
this lot line was more along the line, the tree line
Where'd you get
before,
the
so
old
that
one?
was, it's probably
in our
double in
packet?
size.
Oh,
Lots 5 and
Got it,
6
thank you.
are roughly the same scale as before. There's just been some tweaking. The other thing we were trying to do is get the wastewater systems on their own lot
Right.
as opposed to the easement.
So you're going bigger, not smaller? Got it, thank you.
Correct.
Okay.
any other questions, either from the audience or the board? Excellent. Hearing none, I'll move to finalize the record and, for the sketch plan before us, and I'll move to classify the application as a major subdivision. And I'm going to hold open the hearing for a site visit. But I want to go in a horse and buggy or something. Can we arrange for that?
Well, it sounds
Sled
like there are
dogs?
existing roads back there.
You can, I hike up there, I hunt up there, I
Yeah.
spend a lot of time in there, and it's very easy to access.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so, everybody get their calendars out?
To a date certain.
Yeah, well, first we have, yeah. See, calendar, dank. So we have a meeting on the 4th of January and then on the 18th. So,
The 4th should be
a short meeting, right?
very, very short, yeah.
So, but we
be
can't
dark
go,
out,
it'll be
though.
dark, yeah.
It's dark, it's all dark.
Yeah.
It's gotta be
Shall we,
after
Yeah.
I
the
think,
weekend thing.
the
exactly
weekend.
right. We got to do it on the 7th or the 14th.
Or next week.
Or next, sure, we could go on Sunday. What are you talking about?
During the week, I mean.
How about the 7th? Is everybody happy with that possibility? Assuming weather, assuming it's not like,
What time of day?
what do you,
I coach
Joanne,
basketball in the mornings on Saturdays.
you do what on the
I
morning?
coach basketball,
Oh.
kids basketball.
Yeah, afternoon would be fine, assuming it's, works for everybody else.
Should.
Go for it.
Okay, so Saturday the 7th at, I think we should probably do it like at 2:30, is that crazy? Does anyone have any particular feelings over that? Okay, because it'll be,
I don't have any calendar.
Sunday. When do the Steelers play?
we're talking Saturday the 7th.
Oh, Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's assuming they make playoffs.
So it'll be site visit Pond Road, Desatel.
Is there anything in particular you guys are looking to see out there? Like, do they need to be staking out building envelopes or anything like that?
Well, yeah,
Building envelopes are probably the most interest.
And maybe where the
Just wanted to
lots are, if you, I don't know if you
Also, do you
can.
need more time? And
Well, yeah, there's a couple things, I guess, I maybe push back a little bit on that. In that, one, we would need more time if you needed that. And I would say exact building envelope locations is considerable expense.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know, it'd be, that's probably a full day of field work for our field crews, $1,000.
Don't wanna do that.
Yeah, no.
I'll probably stop you too. The building envelopes are very challenging to get to. It's a lot of, the roads are in there. You can get close, you could point and look at, but to actually get in there, you may not have a lot of fun.
Can you give us a little approximation with some orange tape on trees?
We could probably get you in the neighborhood, but I also don't think it's gonna be, I don't think the specifics are gonna matter to you much once you're in there. And because it's all, sort of very similar land.
Okay.
You might have a different opinion on that. I could do the ones in the field fairly easily, those I could GPS, but the ones in the woods would be considerable effort to stake out.
The two in the field would be easy. The one on the end would be easy. It's the three when you're coming up right across from the Gilmets that they're just, it must have been an old road that you were using at some point a long time ago, because there wasn't a tree bigger than that going in what must have been a road at some point.
Actually, it's cattle that were in there.
Oh,
The only road is one down to the pond,
Yeah.
closer to the pond.
Well, the cattle they were definitely sticking to a trail. So I just kind of went up there with just loppers, and you can walk right up in there now, but if you deviate from that,
It's gonna be hard.
It's not fun. It's just thick, and there are quite frankly a lot of ticks in there.
Great.
But you get right up in there. I mean,
All right, so we'll do it January 7 at 2:30, and stake what you can, and we'll allow you to also provide some narrative while you're there, to the extent that that might be helpful to fill it in. Is that okay with the rest of the members of the board? Okay, hopefully the other members who are not here this evening can come.
hopefully it's not snowing.
Hmm?
Hopefully it's not snowing.
Yeah, I think what we should do is at least be in a position to communicate with the applicant in the event of inclement weather.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll leave that up to you, and you and I can communicate the day before or the day of, depending.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so we are going to actually, I'm going to withdraw my motion at this point until
To
such time
finalize.
as we have a site visit.
Mm-hmm, okay.
So that's okay with everybody, and then we can continue it again and reconvene here if people have any additional questions after the site visit, and then I'll make a motion at that time. Is that satisfactory to everybody on the board? Can the applicant handle that? Do you understand?
I understand.
So we're not going to make a ruling on approving this till such time as we have the opportunity for a site visit.
Sounds good.
And then for us to vote on it, on a motion, it's much easier if we're back here in this forum.
That'll be the same day.
No, that'll be the next meeting we have after that, so we'd have to squeeze it in on the 18th.
January 18th, which should be easy to do.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'd plan to be there on the 18th as well, both of you, just in case there are more questions. It's possible that members of the board who are not here this evening will be at the site visit and may have some additional questions on the 18th as well, but I don't anticipate any trouble.
And site visits are open to the public,
Right.
if you're interested.
Okay, so I think that's the last thing on our agenda, other than any other business. Or I think we do have some, do we have deliberation? No, we're all done with the other one. So is there any other business? Seeing none, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? None?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.